flower bar, and if you're watching this, it's probably because you received or sent a plant project. It's part of our quarantine collection. I'm going to show you the Teahouse. If you sent that, it's kind of our spin on a Zen Garden. They're super fun. So in your plant project, you should get something that looks like this, and you'll have a pair of gloves, super handy right now, not just for gardening. You'll have 3 succulents. They'll be kind of different than what you might see here. You will have a bag of cactus soil, which is different than potting soil or gardening soil, and I'll go over that with you. You will get a bag of rocks. It's like sending someone a bag of coal, but better, right? Kind of weird. You'll have a bag of sand. It's heavy, surprisingly. You will have a cute little box, and inside is your little meditating, praying Buddha. Zen gardens are not complete without that. You will have a Zen Rake and a bag with Karen rocks or stones. So there are these flat black stones for your Zen garden. And then you will also have a container. So there's an option for a gold one if you like gold, if you're more metallic, but we're gonna use the white one for these. So you wanna start with your gloves, obviously, or you don't have to if you want to. And we're going to put a layer of rock on the bottom of the container. The reason we're gonna do this is you have a couple succulents, it's for drainage, there's no drainage in this container. You're also only planting 3 succulents in a really big container, so you don't need a ton of rocks. This is just a good planting practice, if you will. If you have a container that doesn't have drainage, you should always put a layer of rocks at the bottom. It helps protect your plant from getting root rot or having the soil stay really wet. So you can just put a thin layer of rocks across the bottom, and then you're going to take your cactus soil and you're going to put a thin layer of that over the rocks. The difference between cactus soil and garden soil or potting soil is that it's really arid and draining. It doesn't hold moisture as much as garden soil or potting soil, because succulents and cacti don't need moisture. They actually like to be dry. They prefer to be in soil that drains. They don't like moisture around their roots. So you only want to fill up the container with a short layer of this, because we are going to plant our succulents and then we're going to put sand on top. So it should be about halfway full with your cactus soil, and then you're going to take your succulents, you're going to pick a corner, and you'll just want to kind of squeeze the container, and they should just kind of pop out. So then you're gonna take these guys and you're gonna press them into a corner. We gave you 3 of them. There's a lot of balance in 3s. You can create a triangle, and the triangle is a really appeasing shape to the human eye. So your eye tries to find triangles when it looks at things it's balancing. So we gave you 3 succulents because it's very balanced. And if they're really tall when you set them in here and they're sitting over the lip of the container, you'll just want to loosen the soil a little bit around the roots so that they sit a little bit lower. And then you're just going to tuck them in and create a little grouping of these guys. Succulents are known as the camels of the desert. You can tell their fronds or their petals. Leaves, they call them petals, but I think it's kind of weird, but they're really plump and kind of hard. It's because they hold all of the moisture in these petals. So you don't want to overwater succulents. Like a camel, they hold water, so you only need to water these once a month. Not a week, not every 2 weeks, once a month. So if you overwater them, they're really susceptible to getting root rot, and you can't save them once they have root rot. The plant will just basically get all mushy on the bottom, and it'll look really pretty, and then one day it'll just die. So always exercise a lot of caution when you're watering your succulents. It's better to underwater than overwater. So you can kind of see that I placed all 3 of the succulents in the corner. I did the tallest one in the back, and then kind of a medium height, and then the shortest guy in the front. I like that aesthetic. I like that tier. And then I'm going to take a little bit more cactus soil and tuck it around them, just around the plants in the corner. You don't have to tuck the cactus soil everywhere else. You can do a little thin layer on top of it, but you really want to just push the soil around the succulents. The reason for this is that we're going to fill the other area with sand, and you want to have like a thick layer of sand. Otherwise, when you rake, you'll just pull up the soil. So make sure these guys are feeling pretty sturdy and you have a pretty even layer. Okay, so these guys aren't going anywhere. They're super slow growing. They have a really shallow root system. Also, this is a huge container, like I said before, for 3 succulents, so they have plenty of room to grow. Don't worry about that. And their roots are in the soil, so it's fine. Then you're going to take the sand and you're literally going to start filling your container everywhere but where your succulents are with a layer of sand. And this is where we sent this cute little rake. It's kind of handy right now if you want to use it to push the sand into all of the corners of the container. So you're just going to kind of fill the container. You want to go a little bit below the lip with the sand, so you don't want it overflowing. And the reason for that is it's way more fun. So don't do that, because then you have room to kind of rake the sand around. So you're going to get a good layer, and you can always add more. I can tell you it's really kind of tricky to take the sand out, so it's better to add a little bit, and then you can kind of like shake it to like level it out. And then you can keep using your rake to kind of even the sand out. If you want to, you can pour sand in between your succulents. You don't have to. That's an aesthetic thing. It's not going to hurt them. But you also don't have to. So I'm just going to kind of go around and make sure I'm tapping the sand into the container, making it level as best I can. Also, if you wanted to add on like our terrarium tool set, it's kind of fun because it comes with this cute little brush and you can brush the sides and get all the sand in. The brush is also kind of nice because you can like brush the sand and make it a little bit even faster. That's like a speed thing, and we have a ton of time right now, so like, don't know if it's necessary. So here you have the start of your Zen Garden. And this is like a pretty good, you're like 90% at this point. So the cool part now, you can take your little Buddha guy, meditating monk, Buddha. You can set him wherever you want. I kind of like him over here. So like he's in with his little succulent garden. He's kind of just hanging out. And then I'm going to take off my gloves for this. It's way more fun. You need your fingers. You can rake now, or you can rake after you place the cairn stones or cairn rocks. Cairn. These are used a lot in hiking and trails, like as trail markers. That's one of the things a lot of people know them for. Or in meditation, people will use them to stack and meditate, and it's a patience thing. I think they're really fun. You can do multiple little cairn stacks or cairns. You can do one, you can rake and then place them. You can place them and then rake around them. It's totally up to you. So I found that if you want to do a circle, it's better to do the circle and then place something in it, because it's really hard to do a circle around something. Also, you have to have a steady hand with this part, so be kind of patient. And you're just gonna use your little rake and start creating a little Zen garden. And it's nice if you left a little bit of room on the sides, because then you can kind of, the extra sand goes in the side and it doesn't pile up, so it makes it really clean. So if you create like these little, I don't know, we'll do a wave. Why not? And then if you decide you don't like it, you can always take the back end of your rake and erase and start over. I kind of like that though, so I'm going to do it again. So you have this guy, and then you can add on other little Zen moments, right? Then you can take Karens, I don't know the plural of these things, and you can start stacking them. Like I said, you can do 1 or 2 or 3 or however many you want, but there are these flat stones that stack, and it's really fun, quite peaceful. The nice thing about the sand is you can kind of, if the rock isn't perfectly level, you can kind of shimmy it or push it so it is level. And then you can have these a little Zen garden, and you can rake all the lines that you want. And you can change it up as often as you want, which is kind of nice. I really like the terrarium brush for this because it just really keeps it clean and perfect. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial on how to make the tea house plant project. If you have any questions, you can always email us or ask us in the comments, but happy growing, friends.